Here we go again. Another wide receiver bullying his way out of his previous stop. This was not what I meant when I said I wanted players to have more control over their futures in the NFL. But that said, I don't think I'm that upset, but I'm like, come on, bro, really? This is what we're going to do? This is how we're going to do it? So we got another situation on our hands, and I think it's going to facilitate another trade prior to the draft, maybe during the draft. There's a lot to really parse through with this Debo Samuel situation, and we'll do that here on the Louie T Network podcast that starts now. Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the 256th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who are unaware, tonight, 9 p.m. live, NFC East Super Friends unite once again. Bad Dog representing the New York Giants, Lloyd Brunson representing the Philadelphia Eagles, and, of course, Law Nation representing the Dallas Cowboys, and yours truly representing the Washington Commanders. We will come together and we will talk shop, all things NFC East, and then some. Probably a little bit of draft talk as well, but we just like to talk about the division and our disdain for one another's teams. Should be a lot of fun. Don't miss it. 9 o'clock tonight here on the Louie T Network. So with that said, excuse me, another wide receiver is I mean, this is these last two off seasons have been amazing. This off season has been crazy. I think last off season was pretty wild as well, but I think nothing compares to this off season, right? I mean, Russell Wilson gets traded, Devontae Adams gets traded, Khalil Mack gets traded, Tyreek Hill gets traded. Debo Samuel's going to get traded. Kyler Murray wants out, apparently, of Arizona. And I like the fact that they've come out and said, I don't give a shit what he wants. Zero chance we're trading him. Like, these franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees, right? Like, come on, man. Get out of here with your nonsense. So, Debo Samuel. Let's talk about gym dropping session. Let's do it. Let me drop this gym on your melon. Open your mind. Let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, Louie T double E. Let me open you up. Get you thinking a little bit. So Debo Samuel wants out of San Francisco. See, this is exactly why I tell you guys all the time, never, ever trust a man with two first names. Don't do it. Don't trust a man with two first names. This is why. They'll smile in your face all the time. They're trying to take your place. Them damn backstabbers. Backstabbers. Debo Samuel wants out of San Francisco, and initially, nobody really knew why. The initial report came out that he requested a trade. Generally, when we hear a guy wants out of a establishment, it's usually due to money. There's a disconnect in what the player believes his value is versus what the team believes his value is. That's what happened in the Tyreek Hill situation. It had nothing to do with Tyreek Hill's usage or this, that, or third. Tyreek Hill was like, I want to be the highest paid receiver in the league. And the Chiefs like, we can't do that. And they were working towards that. And then Devontae Adams got that deal in the trade with the Raiders, and it just messed everything up. And now Tyreek Hill's like, whoa. He got what? All right, I need to be up there with him. And she's like, come on, bro. Everything was all good just a week ago. So Debo Samuel's situation, it wasn't about money. The 49ers like, we will compensate you for the amount of touches that we, give you per season. Like last year, the man touched the football over 130 times. Okay. That's unheard of usually for a receiver when they don't have 130 some odd catches. No receiver is going to complain about having 132 catches, but you might have a guy complaining about 77 catches and then another 59 rushes or 56 rushes, which is what Debo Samuel had last season. That's when it gets a little dicey, right? So apparently the reason for him wanting out of San Francisco is his usage and how and I talked about this last year about how this man it felt like 85% of their offense. And apparently he wasn't good with the way he was being used, and his body was getting beat up. He's not a running back, and he's like, don't play me like a running back. Remember when he came into the league, what was the consensus thought about his game and what his body type was? Oh, he's like a running back with the football in his hands. And Kyle Shanahan's like, yeah, you're right. So let's get it to him like he's a running back. And Debo's like, yeah, about that. Nah, I'm not about that life. And the crazy part about this whole situation is that I thought that's what he wanted. I thought he wanted the football in as many capacities as possible. Usually guys are clamoring for the football. And I get it. I understand the toll that it takes on your body when you're handed the football and you're tossed the football and then you're thrown the football and you're getting hit like you're a running back. Because that's it's different when you're catching a pass and you're getting tackled by a cornerback or you're getting tackled by a safety versus getting tackled by a 330-pound defensive lineman or a 256-pound linebacker. It's different, right? So you get enough of those as a wide receiver and you're like, yo, we need to chill on that shit. So I understand where he's coming from. His body's been beat up. He was definitely beat up last year with all the touches, but I didn't think it would get to the point where he couldn't just go to them and say, hey, I want to be here, but I need y'all to scale me back on the amount of touches that I'm getting as a running back out of the backfield. Like that couldn't be a conversation that was had. Like we had to get to this point. And I don't know, maybe Debo did go to Kyle Shanahan and say, hey, look, I want to be here. I want y'all to pay me. But I want y'all to pay me for what I do as a wide receiver, not for the extra stuff as a running back. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not saying you can't give it to me on a jet sweep. I'm not saying that every now and again you can't switch it up, but I don't need to touch it 50 times in that capacity. Maybe he did go to them and Kyle said, look, if we're going to pay you because this is what you bring to the table and your skill set is unique. And this is why, we're paying you the money because you're able to do things that other guys can't. And maybe he said, well, if you can't pay me for what I can do as a receiver on its own merit, then I need to be traded. Maybe that conversation did happen. I'd like to think that it didn't. A lot of times with these players, the communication is all kinds of jacked up between, and that's what happens when you have conduits, like an agent in between the player and the team. Shit gets lost in translation sometimes. A lot of, and it's easy for me to say what I would do if I were in the situation, but I feel like a lot of things would be resolved a lot more peacefully if players just went straight to the organization and actually had the conversations themselves instead of having the conversation with their agent who then delivers the message to the team, because an agent has his own interest in mind. A lot of times he's supposed to have his client's interest at heart, and his interests come first before the agent. But a lot of these agents have ulterior motives. There's no doubt that if Debo Samuel gets traded, he's going to command more money from the team that he gets traded to than he would probably get from the 49ers. So in that agent's mind, he's not upset about a fractured relationship with the 49ers. It's going to benefit his pockets. So I don't know where that situation went off the rails. If it's a lack of communication, a lot of times I chalk these situations up to a lack of communication. Whatever happened, he doesn't want to play in San Francisco anymore. And I'd like to think that Kyle Shanahan is like, whoa, how did we get here? Like, wait a minute. Can we talk about this? Like, Wait a minute. Slow down. Why are we just going straight to I want out? Like, there's no way we can reconcile this. The irony of this whole situation. Yeah, Debo Samuel had over 1,400 yards receiving last year. I'm aware. But the whole irony of this situation is that he wants out. But if I'm a team looking to trade for Debo Samuel, part of the allure, part of the reason that I would want to trade for him is the versatility. Isn't that what makes Debo Samuel Debo Samuel? And another thing, some people don't understand, and I've talked about this already, what you've got until it's gone. He's the perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Even without the jet sweeps and the running back tosses out of the backfield and them handing it to him, he's still a perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Trust me when I tell you, Debo, you're not going to go to the Jets and run the drift route and be wide open 877 times and get all these yards after catch. Trust me. Trust me. You might go to Green Bay and there may be an opportunity for you to have, the drift route be wide open because they have a very similar offense, does Matt LaFleur, to what you run in San Francisco. To me, that would be the most logical transition for him, is to go from San Francisco to Green Bay because they run essentially the same offense. So it wouldn't be a big adjustment for him. But if you go somewhere, and again, they run similar offense in New York with the Jets, which is why they're very interested, because it's Matt LaFleur's brother who's the offensive coordinator in New York with the Jets. So they run a similar offense. However, the Jets are not the Packers. The Jets are not the 49ers. So you got to be careful here. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. If I'm the 49ers, I'm not trading him to Green Bay. I'm trading your ass to the Jets. I'm trading your ass to the Jets. Out of the division or out of the conference into a funky ass team that's going to give me what I want. Speaking of which, another layer to this is that the 49ers are really being, aggressively grabbed by their scrotum right now because they're in quite the conundrum. And Debo Samuel, I think they did this strategically. He and his agent put this out, right around a week before the draft, because I've talked about this already. Deadlines spur action. And to me, the 49ers are in a tough spot. You're starting a first-year quarterback, essentially. Next year, Trey Lance will be a second-year quarterback, but for all intents and purposes, be his first year as a starter. He's a rookie. Let's call it what it is. And you're essentially starting your second-year quarterback that has one career start under his belt, and you're going to take the best weapon he has away from him. That really cripples his ability to succeed. So if you're the 49ers, you have into the pressure of Debo Samuel's demands and trade him prior to the draft or during the draft so that you can recoup a first-round pick, which you don't currently have, so that you can then replace him and get a guy in there that can help you immediately so that Trey Lance isn't left trying to figure it out with Brandon Ayuk. He's not left trying to figure it out with the kid from Tennessee and a host of other guys that don't move the needle. Jennings and that group. So if I'm the 49ers, I got to make this thing happen. And you know who's the team? It's the Jets. They've been desperate all off season long. They tried to desperately trade for Tyreek Hill. They offered up number 10 overall to Seattle for DK Metcalf. They're the team. They're the mark. They're the team that you say, hey, Debo wants out. We know you're interested. We know you want a wide receiver to pair with, Corey Davis. And we know you want to get your future franchise quarterback, Zach Wilson, a true number one wide receiver. Well, here's your opportunity to do it. It's going to happen. He's going to be traded because they have to replace his production. They cannot put Trey Lance out there with Jennings and with Ayuk and just pretty much George Kittle in a run game. That's not enough. They have to replace that production. And you know what's crazy is that there are a couple of guys in the draft in particular that would fit that mold really well. The first guy that comes to mind for me that would fit right into that Debo Samuel mold and really give the 49ers what he gave them. And I'm not saying you wouldn't miss a beat, but I think you'd be able to insert him in and it'd be a nice seamless transition, because I don't think you have to be a tremendous route runner to fit into Kyle Shanahan's offense. So for me, Treylon Burks would be the perfect addition to that offense, because he's essentially what Debo Samuel was for them at Arkansas. He's not a great route runner. He literally was a guy they got it to on jet sweeps, wide receiver screens, slants, and then go balls. So you just tell him you run the drift route, which is that 10 to 12 yard dig route over the middle of the football field after play action fake when the linebackers vacate. We'll get it to you right over the middle of the field, and then we'll let you do the rest, run after catch. And Debo Samuel turns into a running back with the football in his hands, run after catch. Same thing with Treylon Burks. He's a big physical guy that's hard to get down onto the ground after he gets the football into his hands. I think that's the guy. I don't know if number 10 overall is where you want to spend your draft pick on Treylon Burks, but to me, he makes the most sense. You're not getting another guy in the draft that brings to the table. And there's some other guys too that have that Debo Samuel type of background, but they don't have the thickness. They don't have the body type, the frame to withstand going through what Debo Samuel went through in that offense. Treylon Burks is 230 pounds. So he can go through, what Debo Samuel went through. Debo Samuel is built like how James Washington is built, thick with that low center of gravity running back kind of frame. So you can take on a little bit more contact. Treylon Burks is a guy that can do that. And so if I'm the 49ers, he's the kind of guy that I'm targeting. But again, 10 might be too high, but at this point, it's what you need. To hell with value and this, that, and the third. Get the guy that fits your system and can give you the production that you're going to be missing with Debo Samuel now gone. To me, that guy is Treylon Burks. So they got to make this trade. Their back is up against the wall, essentially. They can't send Trey Lance into the upcoming season with the receivers, as I just mentioned, that they have without Debo Samuel and George Kittle, and that's essentially it in a run game. Like, they have to give him a guy that he can get it to, and that guy can make a play for him. So if you ask me, the 49ers are going to have to trade Debo Samuel. They're going to have to do it either prior to or during the draft, and fairly early, because, again, you want number 10 overall if you're the 49ers. You want number 10 overall. The Jets aren't giving you number 4, so you can cancel Christmas on that. But they'll give you number 10. They offered it to Seattle. They'll offer it to you as well. And they'll let them worry about paying Debo Samuel. Let them worry about, not giving him the football as a running back and on jet sweeps and things of that nature. That's their problem, not yours. You take that number 10 pick and you spend it on the best wide receiver possible that fits your offense. To me, that's Treylon Burks. But it could be somebody else that Kyle Shanahan, identifies and pegs as the future of the receiver position in San Francisco. And whatever the case may be, they've got to do something, because Trey Lance is a guy that is going to need playmakers around him. He's a baby, is Trey Lance. So this comes at the worst possible time for the 49ers, but there's still time for them to make this wrong or right. Now, they didn't do anything wrong. All they did was take Debo Samuel and turn his stock into Apple stock or Google stock. All they did was take his stock. Remember, this guy was not a first-round pick. They took him and made him into a household name. But again, this is why you don't trust guys with 2 first names. Because I guarantee you Kyle Shanahan didn't see this coming. He was blindsided. It'd be one thing if Debo Samuel, walked into his office week 14 last year and said, "Hey, coach, I'm hurting over here, man. I need y'all to dial it back a little bit. I'm getting too many touches as a running back, man. Y'all could throw it to me, but y'all got to scale it back as a running back. I can't keep taking these shots. I'm not 220 pounds. I doubt that conversation ever happened. I doubt that Kyle Shanahan ever got an inkling that he was upset with his role and wanted it to be reduced in the form of, touches as a running back. I doubt that conversation ever came up. And I guarantee you, I can't guarantee you, but with any certainty, but I can tell you, I can't confirm nor deny this, but if I had to bet, if I were a betting man, I would say Kyle Shanahan first got wind of this when Debo Samuel requested a trade. I wonder if in the negotiations when they were going back and forth and Debo Samuel and his camp pulled their offer off the table for good, I wonder if that is the first time Kyle Shanahan and company were informed that he was unhappy. Clearly, they engaged in conversation with the 49ers at the beginning of this process. And at some point, there was a snag, and he said, you know what? I want out. What changed? Because you initially agreed to get into dialogue with them about a new contract. There was actually offers on the table. Nothing imminent, nothing that was going to lead to him signing on the dotted line, but there was dialogue that had been started. If you were never interested, if you had made up your mind after you lost to the Rams in the NFC Championship game that you wanted out of San Francisco, then there would have never been any talks between your camp and theirs. You would have said, hey, Joey's his agent. I don't know his agent's name. I'm just throwing out a random frivolous name. Joey, tell those boys I'm out. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk to him about it. I just want out. And Joey would have delivered the message. My client doesn't want to talk to y'all. He wants out. He doesn't like the way he's being utilized. Find a trade partner. That didn't happen initially. Initially, he came to the table. He sat down. He slid a piece of paper with a number across the table. The 49ers took the paper, opened it up, looked at it, and said, no. They wrote a number down. They slid that back across the table to his agent. His agent looked at it. He showed it to Debo. Debo said, are you serious? Then they wrote another number down. They slid it across the table. 49ers looked at it and said, and they wrote another number down and slid it across the table. And Debo said, you know what? I'm done. Come on, get your stuff, Joey. We're out. And then he didn't want it. So my whole thing is, where did the riff begin? Did it start with money and then you made this excuse up, to justify wanting out? Or because I really feel like the 49ers would have paid him. They would have ponied up. They did it for Trent Williams. They did it for George Kittle. They would have done it for Debo Samuel. So I find it hard to believe that this is a money thing. But whatever the case may be, there's reportedly 3 teams interested in Debo Samuel's services. It's the same cast of characters that we've been talking about all offseason long when it comes to receivers. It's the Chiefs, it's the Packers, it's the Jets. It's the same teams, okay? Nothing has changed. Everybody keeps adding. The Chiefs have added 2 veterans already in MVS and Juju Smith-Schuster, so they don't have to do this. And if I'm the Chiefs, I don't want to do this. I think everyone's just throwing them in there because they lost Tyreek Hill. But at this point, if I'm the Chiefs, I got 2 first-round picks. I don't need your veteran wide receiver that I'm going to have to pay a boatload of money to. I'm going to go get me a rookie now. I'm good. Got me a couple of veterans that's going to get me through. I'm going to draft me this rookie, and I'm going to go after it with a guy on a rookie contract for the next 4 to 5 years. Thank you, but no thanks. If I'm the Packers, I think I'm interested. I'm really interested. This is the guy that kicked my ass the last 2-3 years. I'm interested. The last 2 out of 3 years that I went to this NFC Championship game, I lost to the, 2 of my last 3 playoff exits have come to these 49ers, and Debo Samuel was a huge part of why I got my ass kicked. So if I'm the 49ers, or I'm the Packers, I'm interested. They just signed Samuel Watkins, but they're a veteran team. But much like the Chiefs, because they traded an all-world wide receiver, they have 2 first-round picks. If I'm the Packers, and the Packers notoriously don't pay a ton of money for wide receivers. They let Greg Jennings walk once upon a time, and that's why they don't have Devontae Adams any longer. So in my mind, they're not going to go out, trade for a guy, and then pay him copious amounts of money when they had a guy that they could have done that with, and they decided not to. So I just don't see the Packers engaging in this conversation. It's the Jets. To me, it's the Jets. And if you're the Jets, don't bid against yourself, because there isn't another team out there. I assure you, the Chiefs aren't going to, go out of their way to give up draft capital to then pay Debo Samuel. Same thing with the Green Bay Packers, who also have 2 first-round picks. Not when a guy like Jameson Williams is sitting out there that's injured, that teams are going to bypass because he's injured right now and on the mend. If I'm the Packers, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm circling that guy as a player that I want to go after. Why would I go after Debo Samuel? Why would I trade draft capital and then have to pay him when I can get a guy on a rookie contract for the next 4 years before I have to even think about re-signing this guy? Doesn't make any sense for those 2 ball clubs, especially when they've already added a veteran or 2 to the roster at the receiver position. So to me, it's the Jets and only the Jets. Don't entertain like the Cowboys. Cowboys don't have any money. They're broke. They couldn't even pay Amari Cooper, which is why they had to trade him. Like, they're not in the conversation. Don't fool yourself and bid against yourself. Offer them number 10 overall, and that's it. Don't throw anything else to sweeten the deal. Number 10 for Debo Samuel, straight up. And that be that. Honestly, if I'm the Jets, I want a draft pick too. I'm like, hey, I gotta pay his ass too. So throw in a 4th-round pick with Debo, and I give you 10, and we'll call it even. So this situation is just awkward. It's just weird. And he'll be the 3rd wide receiver to pretty much bully his way out of town this offseason. And I think we're starting to see a changing of the guard in the NFL from this standpoint. Teams, I think, are starting to realize that of all of the positions that you have to pay, left tackle, just tackle in general, left tackle, right tackle, it doesn't matter. It used to be left tackle. Now it's both tackles. Tackle, corner, quarterback. Of these positions, receiver isn't one of them anymore. It used to be. If you had a big-time wide receiver, you wanted to hold on to that guy. If receivers want to play hardball and they want to twist your arm to the point where they're almost about to break it, teams are saying, we don't have to put up with this shit. Let somebody else deal with this. We can replace you with a younger, cheaper option. You'll never see teams do that with a quarterback, which is why Arizona's like 0 chance we're trading Kyler Murray. And they could say that, but we could get into a Deshaun Watson situation where he ultimately says, I'm not playing anymore for you guys. I told you something's off with Kyler Murray, though. We're not going to do that today, but I've already told you, if I were a team, I wouldn't want to go near Kyler Murray. Something's amiss there with him. There's always something going on with Kyler Murray. Always. For as talented as he is, he's a headache, a walking headache. But he's talented. Anyway, teams are a lot more apprehensive to trade away a star quarterback that may be disgruntled. I think teams are getting to the point now with these receivers where they're like, look, man, you're super talented and we want you, but if this is the way you're going to approach it, we'll just get what we can for you and we'll move on. It started with Antonio Brown. Like, he's not worth the headache. The Steelers ate over $20 million of dead cap to get rid of that dude. I think teams are starting to look at these receivers and they're saying to themselves, man, the dude is worth the price of admission. We'd love to have him, but not at that price tag. Let somebody else pay that. We'll get another guy in here. And you can get away with that as long as you have the quarterback. That's why the Packers weren't tripping. That's why the Chiefs weren't tripping, because they're like, hey, we got Mahomes, we got Rodgers. The Jets don't have that. They have Zach Wilson. They need a guy. They need a game changer. The Dolphins, they got Tua Tagovailoa. They need a game changer. They don't have a guy that can, take what he already has and make it work. I'll be interested to see if other teams follow suit. Like, I've already said that of the guys that were looking for new deals, and I've talked about it, there were 4 of them that weren't drafted in the first round of that 2019 NFL draft that were looking for deals this offseason. And I said I wouldn't be shocked if Debo Samuel got traded, and I wouldn't have been shocked if DK Metcalf got traded. But I said the 2 guys that I expect to be back with their respective teams were A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin. I don't see either one of those guys getting traded, but this offseason has been so bonkers, so nuts, that can you be assured of that? With all the moves that we've seen made already to this point, Matt Ryan being traded, Deshaun Watson signing, Carson Wentz being traded, Russell Wilson being traded, Devontae Adams being traded, Tyreek Hill being traded. Can you really say for certain that A.J. Brown isn't going to get to an impasse with the Titans and say, yep, you know what? I want out. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think Terry McLaurin's going to do that with Washington, but never say never. It's funny. My guy, JP, massive Washington Commanders fan, tweeted out to me the other day, said, there was the Debo Samuel trade, rumor or trade demand had hit the news wire, and so everybody was retweeting it and stuff like that, and he retweeted that with a comment that said Terry would never. And I said, don't say never. What I should have said is never say never. As a wise woman once told me, never say never. Anything can happen. Anything. And this is another example of that. So in any event, it's a crazy situation. Let's get to the comment section as we transition to social media maneuvers. I'm a midday marauder. All right. So let's see what you guys have to say. If you are out there and you want to have your comment read on the air, the quickest way to do that is to super chat. Jump straight to the front of the line with a super chat. We can chop it up. But if you want to go the traditional route, just use the hashtag LouieTLive. I'll get to as many comments as I can before we exit stage left. So with that said, I got a couple of super chats, so I'll take these first. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, Lou, Sonny, what time do you get cracking on the rest of the division? Wish those guys bad luck for me. I should be on later supporting, brother. 9 p is when we get in the festivities started tonight. At 8 o'clock, if you're a member of the MOBB, we will be talking safeties tonight. So we'll talk safeties from 8 to 8:45, and then 15 minutes later, we'll be on live at 9 p with the other members of the Super Friends talking NFC East ball. So looking forward to that, and hopefully you'll be able to join us later on tonight. Big Money Sonny. Kyle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Kyle writes, Ant dropping 40 tonight. T-Wolves winning in 7. How about you? Psych! I was talking, so I don't know if you watched my last podcast, but I gave a quick synopsis of what I thought would happen in game number 2. And I said, if we're serious, if we're the team that I think we are, then we should win game 2 going away. I said, if the T-Wolves somehow beat us, or we beat them by, 2 or 3 points and we barely squeak out a victory, we're in trouble. But we did what I expected us to do. We were more physical with you, which I knew we were going to, and the whistles were blowing, and that's fine. We can pick up fouls. We're deep. We're the deepest team in the NBA. We can pick up fouls. We're okay. So I want to be physical. Get into your airspace. You guys aren't ready for that. I'm not calling you a finesse team, but you're used to getting what you want, getting to your spot on the court, getting your shots. Nah, we're going to make it tough. We're going to run you off that damn three-point line because we know that's what you want to do. Malik Beasley and all of these dudes that just like to hoist up threes, run their ass off the three-point line, make somebody else do something. They can put it on the floor and do something else. So we ran you off the damn three-point line. We got into your airspace. We made you uncomfortable. We're going to do it again. And I think the biggest adjustment was Steven Adams can't play in this series, okay? Steven Adams, we need to be able to switch everything on the perimeter. And so bringing in Xavier Tillman and Brandon Clark and Tripp and having those guys cycle through, that's a problem for y'all because now we can switch everything on the perimeter. It ain't Steven Adams backing up to the free throw line and giving Anthony Edwards all kinds of space because he's afraid to get blown by, and now he's walking into his shot at the three-point line. Nah, that shit's dead now. We fighting over screens. We being physical. If they want to call a foul, go right ahead. And you're a little irritant, he not getting in our head, and I know the crowd's going to be raucous tonight. It's going to be a hell of an environment. I know that. They know that too. We know we walking into the Lions den tonight or the Wolves den, but we're going to go in there, quiet them down. All we got to do, this one doesn't need to be a blowout. Okay. We just got to hang in and then at the end, do what winners do. Y'all don't know anything about this. Y'all haven't been to the playoffs before. Y'all don't know what this is about, okay? Y'all just visitors this year. You're getting your feet wet, okay? We're going to try to do to y'all what was done to us last year. We thought we did something when we went to Utah last year and won in game 1. Coming out of the play-in tournament, went to Golden State on the road and won. Nobody gave us a chance. We strolled into Utah. They don't have their best player in Donovan Mitchell, and we come out with a victory, and we beating our chests. And then the Jazz proceeded to bust our ass 4 games in a row and send us home with a nice Coke and a smile. Thanks for playing. And that's what we intend to do to y'all. Now, again, it ain't going to be easy because it's like looking in a mirror. Y'all young just like us. Don't know no better. But y'all are careless. Y'all make too many mistakes, too many turnovers. Y'all do stupid shit like Cat's got 4 fouls and he's going to stick his foot out on the three-point shot. He's a dum-dum. Y'all make too many of those plays and y'all do too many stupid things and turn the basketball over to beat us. So Ant-Man ain't dropping 40 tonight. I can tell you that right now. He might get 30 again. He ain't dropping 40. And you know what? If he drops 40, as long as it's in a loss, I don't give a shit. Anyway, I digress. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, meant to ask who's projected first overall. There is no projection right now. There's no Vegas odds has it as Aiden Hutchinson, the edge rusher from Michigan, but nobody knows. I told you this is the first time in a long time I think that the number 1 overall pick is in doubt. Like we are not sure what's going to happen at number 1. Normally, it's either a quarterback or an edge rusher or a tackle, but we already know that going in who the pick is going to be. That's not the case right now. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get to the comment section and see what we have from a hashtag standpoint. I think that was the last super chat that we had. Okay, we got Hawk TV. The Hawk TV writes, I'm hoping we can get our guy Terry Matt taken care of on a deal that's fair to him and to the team's salary cap. I'm going to just tell you right now, I don't know about the team's salary cap, but Terry's looking to get paid, and he's going to get paid. Y'all got to stop with this, team friendly, friendly with the cap and these players ain't thinking about the salary cap. Y'all figure that out. That's not my job. My job is to get as much of that bread while it's there to be got. Well, when y'all start putting that bread in the oven, I just need to make sure mine comes out hot. Serve it up. So Terry ain't thinking about salary cap. He's not a quarterback. He's not Tom Brady trying to make space. He's not Derek Carr trying to make sure that we can sign other players. Terry's like, this is my money. I earned this. So about a team-friendly deal, a deal that makes sense for the team's salary cap, you could take that somewhere else, because that's the last thing Terry and his agent are worried about. Just like it was the last thing Brandon Sheriff and his agent was worried about. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. So Terry will get his, and they got to figure out the salary cap. That's not his job. Protect Sports Network. I got Tones. Right. Who trades for Debo? I'll say Jets. They thirsty. Oh, also, does this affect Terry in any way? I think it's the Jets as well. I've already said that. As far as Terry's concerned, does this affect Terry? We won't know until we see what the price tag is. That's the only way. This doesn't affect whether Terry wants out or not. As far as, well, Debo, asked for out of San Francisco, so I should do like that. That has no bearing on what his situation is. I think the only thing that his agent will be monitoring is how much Debo Samuel gets paid, because I think this past year was Debo Samuel's first year eclipsing 1,000 yards as a receiver. I could be wrong there. Now, he had 1,400 yards. Like, that's some big boy numbers. So, that's still way different. Yeah, that was the first time he eclipsed 1,000 yards in his career. So, Terry's looking like, look, I got back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and I would have had a third if I didn't get injured, final 2 games of my rookie season. So, my numbers look a lot different than his numbers, is what Terry's agent is saying. So they want to see what Debo Samuel's about to get broken off with. Yeah, that could change. If Debo goes out and gets $26.5 million per year, Terry and his agent is like, that just moved the bar up from 20, million, starting the conversation at 20 to starting it at 21. And our number probably needs to be somewhere in that 24, 25. Like, it keeps getting pushed up. That's why I said the longer you wait, the more money you're going to spend. So the smart teams get out in front of these types of situations. You don't wait until the last minute, because that's why the Bills were smart to get Josh Allen done, right? Because they didn't need to wait on, and obviously the Baker Mayfield thing fell through, but Baker was waiting for his money in Cleveland, and Lamar was waiting for his money in Baltimore. And what you didn't want to happen is Lamar breaks the bank and he ends up getting 45 a year. Now Josh Allen's looking like shit. Hey, I'm better than him. So yeah, I know he won the league MVP, but I don't give a shit about that. I'm better than him. He getting 45. So I need 45 and a half. I need 46. Because we know how it is with these quarterbacks. The next guy needs to be the next, the highest paid guy in the league until the next guy overtakes him. So instead of waiting for that shit to happen, you go ahead and pay your dude. Whatever you feel like is fair compensation, and if you can get him to agree, pay him. Get it out the way, because today's overpay is tomorrow's deal. So the longer you wait on Terry and other guys continue to get theirs, it's just going to push the price up on Terry's deal. So that's the only way it could impact. If Debo Samuel gets traded to the Jets and signs a deal where he's getting $26.5 million a year, and Terry's going to look and say, wait, I'm better than him. So I need to be right up in that same neighborhood. Then that's when shit can get dicey. So we'll see. We'll see. Money's getting crazy. Money's getting crazy. All right. So let's see. Storm writes, "Rip my former MVP Daryl LaMonica, aka the Mad Bomber, should have been a Hall of Famer, but at least my Raiders appreciated him while he was here. Rest in peace to Daryl LaMonica, aka the Mad Bomber." You know how Al Davis used to love cutting it loose deep, love speed, and love quarterbacks that could get it out there to that speed. And Daryl LaMonica was one of the first dudes that could do that for old Al back in the day. Let's see if there are any more comments. Pac-Man D3 says, Boombox failed you this time, man, but gonna be some fire. Yeah, look, I'm not deterred. You know how it is, man. I'm gonna bounce back. I'm not tripping, but the last two have been subpar to say the least, for sure. But I'll be back. I'm not worried. Kyle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. My guy Kyle writes, heard people compare Malik Willis to Michael Vick. Nah, I haven't heard that, but anybody that's doing that, nah, that's what I say to that. Nah, he's not Michael Vick at all. The closest thing I've seen to Michael Vick is Lamar Jackson. And I think Mike has even given him his blessing in terms of, yeah, you the truth. You remind me of me. You know when a dude reminds you of you when you actually hear that guy come out and say, hey, respect to that guy. Like AI came out and said, hey, John Morant, he's that dude. Why? Because AI sees himself in John Morant. That's why. So when one of the GOATs of the game comes out and says, hey, that dude is legit, then he feels like that guy reminds him of himself. Michael Vick came out and said Lamar Jackson is that dude. Like, he reminds me of me. I don't feel that way about Malik Willis at all whatsoever. Not even one iota. So I don't know who's comparing him to Michael Vick, but you got to earn that comparison. And one, Malik Willis is fast. He ain't that damn fast. He ain't Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick fast. That's different fast. He ain't that fast. Malik Willis, he can spin it now. He's got an arm like, Michael Vick did, but I don't put him in that conversation nor category. I don't think he's that dude at all. I think Malik Willis is more Donovan McNabb than he is Michael Vick, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, yo, Kyle, ask Lou, I'm a big fan of Malik Willis. Don't know about Vic, though. He's a bit of an underdog in a lot of people's eyes. Yeah, I don't see the Vic comparison. And I'm not saying that you said that, right? I don't think, Kyle is making that comparison, but he said people are saying that. I don't know what people are saying that, but I would challenge those people to look a little deeper, because on the surface, it to me is not even close. But if they seem to feel that way, I need you to look a little bit closer. So anyway, see where we got. JP John Perez writes, I'll definitely be on the Super Friends stream later. And would you welcome Olave with open arms if we drafted him, or would you go ape shit like you did with Deron Payne? No, why would I be upset about Olave? I told you, I want Chris Olave. He's the perfect complement to Terry. I wouldn't be opposed to them drafting a different receiver or drafting Kyle Hamilton. I wouldn't be opposed to. I told you, in my eyes, it'd be pretty hard for them to mess it up at 11. You'd have to draft a quarterback or an offensive tackle or offensive lineman, period, in order for me to go, what the hell are you doing? What was the purpose of that? It's pretty hard for them to mess this up. I can't see them messing it up, and I don't think they're going to, do something crazy. It's the same way I felt about the name. Like, they're not going to name, the team the Tampons. So as long as they name the team something rational, which they're going to do, I'm fine with it. That's kind of how I feel about 11. So, let's see. Harry Hilton writes, Lou, how do you feel about Kime's report that the plan A in the draft is trade down if we can find a partner? I'd love KC, Green Bay, or Lions first 2 picks plus a mid. Draft is deep at our need positions. I told you I thought that they would love to move back. I said that plan A would be to trade back and get Olave. Like, I think that's the plan if they can execute it, because Olave isn't a guy. This is why I said they know he's going to be there at 11. Worst case scenario, they go in to the draft night, day one, April 28th, and they say, worst case scenario, we take Chris Olave at 11. We know he's going to be there. To me, there's a 1% chance that someone takes him before 11. Like, it's very minute. Okay. So in their minds, worst case scenario, we should be able to walk away with Chris Olave, but we shouldn't have to pick him at 11. Now, you could get cute, try to trade back, and then somebody take him, and now you got to go in a different direction. But to me, I told you the minute we traded for Carson Wentz, I said trading back became a much more realistic possibility. You remember me saying that? Because now you only have 6 draft picks. You already were down a 5th round pick because you traded with Philadelphia last year so that you could get Cam Cheeseman and pick up all of those 7th round picks. So you were already at a disadvantage coming into the draft, not having a full complement of picks. Then you trade away your 3rd round pick to acquire Carson Wentz. That leaves you with just 6 picks. So now you're like, damn, it's kind of skimp over here. So I told you, once they traded for Carson Wentz, they really were probably looking like, hey, if we can get out at 11, we will. Which is why I told you, Kyle Hamilton being available, some of y'all might be upset, but that's the best thing that could happen for us if we're looking to get out, because he's the guy that would facilitate someone wanting to come up to 11. But then it would frustrate some of you because you just want Kyle Hamilton. You don't want to trade out of 11. But Washington's saying, hey, if Hamilton's available, that's great, because he's the kind of guy that would force somebody to want to come up to get him. That said, I think they want to move back and pick up a pick or two. But the reality of the situation is, more likely than not, they're going to end up having to make a selection at 11. That's probably what's more likely than not going to happen. But it all depends on how the board falls. We'll see. Harry Hilton writes, trading back allows us to get Walker or Hall at running back, deep at safety, Buffalo nickel, deep at linebacker. So I talked about that last night. Someone had proposed that the Chiefs come up, and trade up with us. And so that prompted me to go pull out the old Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes trades. And it was the Mahomes trade in particular, I believe, that I looked at, in which the Chiefs gave the Bills their first. They swapped first. They got a 3rd, and then they got the next year's first from Kansas City, did the Bills. So I said it would be something along those lines. I wouldn't want both of the Chiefs' 1st round picks this year. I'd want to push one of those into next year. So you would swap ones, which would put you in that Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker III territory, which is what I talked about last night. And then you'd get the 3rd round pick. So the 2nd round pick then is probably more likely than not the wide receiver that you passed on by trading back. And then you would go into the 3rd round now saying, okay, we can address safety or we can address linebacker here. Whereas if you didn't have the 3rd round pick, you'd have to address it at either 11 or 47, because there is no 3rd round pick. And by the time you come back on the board at 113 in the 4th round, all of the stuff that you're probably really interested in might be gone by then. So that's why I talked about that 3rd round pick, which is why in my mock draft, the Eagles trading up and getting that 3rd round pick, 83rd overall, made a ton of sense for me, because it bridges that gap between the 4th and the 2nd and the 4th round picks that we currently have. And it takes some of that pressure off of you having to address specific positions right away, instead of waiting till maybe the value might be even better. So we'll see. Again, I don't know how I feel about passing up on a potentially elite wide receiver for a guy that, we're hoping turns into a dynamic wide receiver, because we keep talking about depth at specific positions like safety. I love the fact that the safety position is deep, and I think that they'll be just about. I think, with the exception of Daxton Hill and Kyle Hamilton, I think every single one of the safeties in this draft will still be available at 47 when we are on the board in the second round. I truly believe that. Jaquan Brisker, Petrie, Lewis Seen, all of those guys will be available at 47, in my mind, at least. So I don't feel the pressure at safety, whereas with linebacker, if you really want to do that, and I don't know if I think we're really kind of cooled off on the idea of drafting a linebacker. I think they've convinced themselves that Cole Holcomb could be the answer there. And I think they're more interested in running back, wide receiver, and safety, and maybe even corner, maybe to a lesser degree, defensive tackle for depth, offensive line for depth purposes. I think they're more interested in those positions than they are, targeting linebacker at this point. So we'll see what happens. But it's a risky proposition, I'll tell you that. Jason Bree writes, "Hey Lou, what's up, Jason?" He says, "What would you think of wide receiver Pickens in the first round?" I'm not a first round George Pickens guy, not where we currently select. I could see him going back into the first round to a Kansas City or Green Bay. That wouldn't shock me. There have been fans, and viewers that have said, fans of Washington that have said, maybe we can get him in the fourth round. I'm like, you're not paying attention, are you? That's not happening. This kid is without a doubt no worse than a second round pick, in an early one at that. I could see him sneaking into the first round. He's not worthy of 11. And even if we were to trade back to, say, 18, 19, something like, he's still not worthy of that pick, if you ask me. I don't think he comes into play until you get back towards Green Bay's second first round pick at 28, or the Chiefs at 29 or 30. Or I think the Packers' second first rounder is at 27. I think it's 26, because I know the Bucks are in between them and the Chiefs. I feel like it's two teams in between them. Anyway, that Packers' second first round pick, wherever it may be, I think that's where you start to see a guy like George Pickens maybe pick up some steam. Alex writes, "Who are some guys in the draft you think are ranked too high and too low by the consensus?" So, one of the guys that I think is way too high is Drake London. I don't see it. That's one of the guys that I'm not that high on. Another guy that I think may be a bit too high, and again, it depends on who you talk to, is the wide receiver out of Purdue, Bell. He's another guy that I just don't see being able to separate at the next level. That bothers me. So, and he's not fast. I think he ran like a 4.65 or whatever at the combine. So I think that's another guy that some people are really high on. I'm not. I think that, when you go to people are a little too low on, I think that for one, let me add Kayvon Thibodeau in there as well. He's talented. I don't think he's worthy of a top 5 pick, but he's going to be picked in the top 5. That's another guy that I'm not overly impressed with, but I can admit that he has talent. So he's another one that I would throw in that conversation. As far as guys that are ranked too low that could, I think be a little bit higher, I'm a big fan of, and again, he didn't run fast. He's not the biggest guy in the world. So I get it. I understand why he's ranked where he is, but I keep talking about Roger McQuarrie. I think he is really talented, and he's got that dog mentality that you look for at the cornerback position. So he's a guy that I'm really really high on. Another guy that I think a lot of people are not as high on that they probably should be a little bit higher on. I'm trying to think of some players. I think, and maybe he's right where he needs to be, but I really like Logan Hall, the defensive tackle out of Houston. I just love his versatility and his ability to kick inside. I think he could really help somebody. I actually almost put him in my first round in my mock draft. It was really close, the back end of that first round, because I think he's that talented. I really like him a lot. So had a strong Senior Bowl, showed me a lot there. And I think he's another guy that I look at and say, I think he's, significantly underrated in this draft. Trying to see if I can think of anybody else that fits in either one of those categories off the top of my head. I don't think Louis Cine is getting enough love for what he did on the back end of that Georgia defense. For how, first of all, a lot of people question his speed. He went out and ran a 4.38, so I guess that puts that to bed. But he's just so physical, and I think he's got good enough ball skills. I don't think he's getting enough credit for what he might be able to do at the next level. I think people are really sleeping on him a little bit. I tend to think I watched Daxton Hill some more. I kind of think he's a little bit overrated. He looks like a bona fide nickel corner. I don't necessarily see safety, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't necessarily see safety with Daxton Hill. I just see a guy that's essentially playing nickel corner. But you need those. You need those. And he's got experience at safety, so that helps too. But those are just a few. Anyway, Rod Diff, thanks for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Rod Diff, writes, I want Washington to take London at 11 because he says, I think he's the best receiver in the draft. He's way more versatile than people give him credit for. That's the beauty of the draft. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You can talk to 10 different people and get 10 different perspectives on 10 different prospects. I'm not a Drake London fan. And a lot of the numbers, somebody sent me something yesterday that, and he said, hey, I don't know. He said, I know a lot of people send you stuff, but I think this is a good read. You should check it out. And so I did. And he was right. It was a great read. And I want to give a shout out to @Baron Von Monkey on Twitter. My guy, Paul, @Baron Von Monkey, sent me this MSN.com article about overrated wide receivers based on, and they've got these different metrics that they use, right? So I want to just read this tweet. I'm not going to bore you with the entire article because it's a lot, and it gets really nerdy, and they use a lot of numbers, and I don't want to bore you with all of that stuff because I'm not the biggest number guy, right? But this is a tweet that I find very interesting, and this is from @Scott Barrett DFB. So he works for one of these sites that compiles all these numbers and things of that nature. So let's see. I'm gonna tell you what he works for. He works for a site called. He's the director of Dank Stats at Fantasy Points. Okay, so he says, excluding all catches coming on screens, since 2017, there have been 152 instances of a Power 5 wide receiver gaining at least 750 receiving yards in a single season. Again, minus screens. Here's the list ranked by percentage of receptions coming on contested catches, all right? So these are the receivers. JJ Arthego-Whiteside in 2017 caught 44% of his catches in contested situations. N'Keal Harry in 2018 caught 37% of his balls in contested catch situations. JJ Arcega-Whiteside in 2018 caught 35% of his balls in contested catch situations. Jalen Reagor in 2018 caught 32% of his balls in contested catch situations. Drake London in 2021 caught 31% of his balls in contested catch situations. And Denzel Mims in 2019 caught 31% of his balls in contested catch situations. Those are the highest, okay? Excluding screens, those are the highest the last 5 years, okay? Then he writes, is this not just a list of the top day 1/2 bust over the time frame? I didn't say it, he did. He's not wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. He's not wrong. So when I look at Drake London, I see a guy that can't separate. I told you already, he didn't run on purpose because he knows he can't run. So, and then he tells you, and I love the dudes that get chesty after you call them out on their bullshit. So you tell me this is the healthiest and the strongest you've ever felt, but yet you won't run a 40. Why is that? Because you know you're going to bomb and you're going to scare teams away. So then when somebody says, well, on tape, you don't separate and you're not running a 40, he says, well, my tape speaks for itself. I have no problems catching the football in contested catch situations. That's cool when you're playing against Fresno State. That's cool when you're playing against Oregon State. Now you're playing against dogs and trained killers at the NFL level that don't give a damn about you being 6'4", that don't give a damn about you being 215 pounds. They'll climb up your back and take that shit from you, okay? If you can't separate at the NFL level, dudes are going to exploit you because if they know you can't run, I'm squatting on anything underneath. I don't respect your speed, so what I'm going to back up for? The minute you put your foot in the ground, I'm already there. I don't understand. He's versatile in the sense of he can play inside as a slot receiver because they used him in that manner at USC. He can play out wide, obviously, with his big frame. But I don't get the love for Drake London. I just don't. And again, I could be wrong about him. But Mike, the closest comp I've heard is Mike Williams, and Mike Williams isn't slow. I think if my memory serves me correct, Mike Williams ran a 4.54 at his combine. Let me see what Mike Williams' 40 time was. I think he ran a 4.54. He ran that's the wrong Mike Williams. Let's see. Mike Williams, Chargers. Be so many Mike Williamses. 4.54. Boy, I'm bad. Damn, my memory is good. Shit is sharp as a tack. 4.54. Drake London ain't running no 4.54, man. He not. So, I mean, and again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You watch Drake London film and you watch him and you see something else. We don't see the same thing, obviously. But you're not alone. There are a lot of people that feel the way that you do about Drake London. I just don't. And that tweet, to me, encapsulates everything that I think in my mind when I see him play. He can't separate. And guys at the next level are going to eat his ass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You come with that weak, slow ass shit, and you think you're going to separate because you're big? They will chop your ass down to size and take that shit from you. And, oh, by the way, he also drops the football, which nobody seems to want to talk about. I digress, though. Thank you for the super chat, Rod Diff. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, London is Leonard Hankerson 2.0. He's not, though. I won't let you disrespect London like that because Hank was funky. He ain't that bad, He ain't that bad, but I'm not gonna let you do him like that. Yeah. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you again. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, Terry walking into contract negotiations, listening to Father MC, like, treat me like I wanted to be treated. You should treat me right. That's right. Treat me right. Oh, 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 treat me right. Yeah, he's gonna get it too. You know, they know what it is, and they're gonna treat him right. Trust me, Ron. I've already talked about the value that Terry holds in this organization. Unlike some of the other guys, Terry is a leader on and off the field. Terry is the face of the franchise, or one of the faces of the franchise. Like I said, like they view Jonathan Allen on the defensive side, they view Terry on the offensive side. He's the leader on that side of the football, and you can't replace that kind of stuff. When a guy does everything the right way, everything you ask of him, and then goes above and beyond the call of duty and does the extra thing, and you got to reward that guy. The rest of the players in the locker room have to see that there is a reward for doing it the right way. When you take that guy and you run him away, then they say to themselves, well, shit, if Terry couldn't get paid here, how the hell am I supposed to get paid here? And Terry was a beast. And Terry did everything the right way. And Terry was a vocal leader. And Terry did it the right way on the field and off the field. Terry led by example. Terry played injured. Terry sacrificed for this team. And he couldn't get paid here? Shit, I'm in trouble then. That's not the precedence you're trying to set here. You know? King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, King of the North. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, Lou, do you really think Memphis can win it all? Beat the Bucks? I don't think we can win it all this year. I don't. But that's not going to stop me from wanting us to do it. I still think we're probably a year away from being serious contenders. This is the year that we need to start winning some series, though. Like, I was running. I wanted Golden State to fall to the number 4 seed so we could avoid them. If that would have happened, I think we would have ended up in the Western Conference Finals. But because Golden State is the 3 seed, we're going to have to play them in the second round. And they're so good and they're battle tested and they know what it takes to win this time of year. I just think it's going to be tough for us to beat them. We match up well with them, though, and we've beat them, but that was before Klay Thompson, was healthy. The last time we beat Golden State, Klay Thompson had just come back like maybe 4 or 5 games prior, and he was still on a minutes restriction. He's no longer on a minutes restriction. Steph Curry's getting healthier now, and now Jordan Poole, who I really love as a basketball player, he's now developed the confidence that he's like one of those dudes that believes I'm just as good as Steph and Klay, and I belong in that conversation. And so now that makes them even more dangerous because Jordan Poole now is another guy you have to worry about. He can put up 40. He showed us that already. So I think Golden State is going to be a problem for us. I don't know if we're ready to climb that mountain quite yet, but I'm dying to see it. I want the opportunity to try and climb that mountain because if we can get past them, I think we can beat Phoenix. And obviously Devin Booker being out potentially for 3 to 4 weeks, they're in trouble now. They're going to get past the Pelicans, but they're going to have to fight now. That series easily could have been a sweep, maybe 5 games max. They're going 6, minimum of 6 now with that scrappy ass Pelican squad. Again, all of these young ass teams, they're scary because they don't know any better. That's a young ass Pelicans team. They don't know any better. So I could see them winning 2 games, really pushing them to the limit. I wouldn't be shocked if that thing went 7 now all of a sudden. So I expect them to get past the Pellies, but they could be in trouble, that next series, depending on who it is. If the Mavericks can get Luka back healthy, they could be in some trouble in that next series. So we'll see what happens. But no, I'm not worried about anybody on the East side of the bracket. I'm not afraid of any. The only team that scares me in the East is Boston. I don't know if we can beat them. They beat the shit out of us like 2 or 3 times this season. Like we had nothing for Boston both times. I think we played them twice and they beat us up both times. Now, the last game of the season, we rested all of our starters and they destroyed us, but we went to Boston and got the brakes beat off of us probably a month and a half ago. So that's the one team I don't have Nets problems. I don't have Heat problems, even though they're really good and well balanced. I don't have Heat problems. I don't have Bucks problems. I've beaten them already this season as well. I got Celtic problems. So, but you'd have to get there first. And I don't know if we could get out of the West. It's tough. Michael White, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Michael White, writes, super hype about tonight, family business. You know what it is. If these two teams or these four teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. And don't nobody do family business quite like us here in the NFC East. So I can't wait for it either. Bart Scott can't wait. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, random reminder for everyone to smash the like button. You heard the man. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Over 175 of you out there and only 82 likes. I mean, I'll never understand that, but okay, it's whatever. I'm not gonna beg you to hit the like button. Not gonna do that. But I will ask you nicely, could you please hit the like button if you haven't already hit it? Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. And also thank you for reminding everyone to hit the like button. Truly appreciate that. He says, Lou, you made it, homie. You got porn ads in your chat. Don't worry, Condo P is all over it. Man, them things been there for the longest time, man. I've been getting hit with those porn ads or whatever they are, those bots. So yeah, if that's the case, I made it a long time ago. Oh man. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, you better put some respect on the Sixers, homie. They beat us too without Embiid, but I'm not afraid of them. We don't have any answers for Joel Embiid, but I think we match up pretty well with everyone else on their team. And I think we have enough to beat the 76ers. I just don't think the 76ers are good enough to get to the finals themselves. So that's the problem is I don't look at the 76ers. I'm looking past them because James Harden is a shell of himself. And Embiid is literally carrying that team, and he's going to need more help. I thought they got worse when they traded away Seth Curry and Drummond. I thought those were integral parts of what you were trying to do, especially Curry. You know, with Embiid, you need as many shooters as you can around him so that when teams collapse, he can kick it out to a shooter and they can knock it down. Trading away a guy like Seth Curry, I thought was just a bad move, but you had to do what you had to do, right? So I don't really view the 76ers. I mean, of course, Danny Green could come to life. And, Tyrese Maxey is starting to show out. And I think that kid's super talented. But you're going to need guys like Lucas Niang to step up big. And you can't be counting on Lucas Niang. But that's what you're going to need. Like, you're going to have dudes step up because Joel can't do it by himself. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP, writes, Lou, man, you talking about Memphis being in the postseason while my Lakers are sitting at home. Y'all deserve to sit at home after what y'all did. Yeah, the stupidest thing y'all did in the offseason, y'all had Buddy Hield teed up. He would have been the perfect player to play with LeBron and AD, even though AD, aka Street Clothes, was pretty much out the whole season. LeBron would have done masterful things with Buddy Hield. And Buddy Hield is the second best shooter in the league behind Steph Curry. And you decide to jettison him for Russ. You deserve everything you got this year. You should have got Buddy Hield. You would have been in the playoffs right now had you done that. So you got everything you deserved. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. I think I got a couple more hashtags. We'll take a couple more hashtags and we'll get out of here. Where did we leave off at from a hashtag perspective? Let's see. I think we were here. We were right here. So got a hashtag here from Harry Hilton, who says, thanks for the shout outs, Lou. Appreciate chopping it up the draft with you. Hey, no problem, man. None at all. I love talking to people. I just love talking ball, period. So no matter what your favorite team is, I talk about all teams because I watch all the games. You know, I tell people this all the time. I'm a Washington fan, but I'm an NFL fan first. Some people don't get that, but it's not that hard to understand. Let's see. Oh, I got a super chat. Viscount. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Viscount writes, hey, Lou, good luck later. Some humble pie to be eaten. Absolutely. I cannot deny that. We'll tune in tomorrow. Starts 2 a.m. here in the UK. Look forward to you watching it, man, and tell me what you think. But yeah, I definitely got a slice of humble pie that I gotta eat. Now I don't mind. I told you guys when I'm right, I'm gonna tell you. You know I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be the first to tell you. When I'm wrong, I can man up and admit. And definitely got a double O coming that I gotta serve up to the gang. But trust me, it's not gonna come without a little bit of sauce, you know, on the side. But I'm gonna offer it up though, because I definitely was wrong. So appreciate you, Viscount, and hopefully you enjoy the stream when you get a chance to check it out. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to the end of the show in garbage time. So another quick reminder before we get out of here. Tonight is the Super Friends stream, NFC East Super Friends. Law Nation from the Dallas Cowboys, Lord Brunson for the Philadelphia Eagles, and of course my guy Bad Dog, Bad Dizzle, as we like to call him, from the New York Giants, and yours truly representing the Washington Commanders. You come join us. There's going to be a lot of laughing, a lot of fussing, a lot of cussing, but it's all love, and it's all NFC East. So if you're interested, join me and the rest of the Super Friends tonight at 9 p here on the Louie T Network. Should be a ton of fun. Bart Scott can't wait. One more thing I want to address during this garbage time is this whole Baker Mayfield to Carolina narrative that I've been seeing. There may be some legs to this because I think we're going to see at least 3 to 4 blockbuster trades during the draft. Debo Samuel may be one of them. Baker Mayfield may be another. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see some things like that transpire during the draft. That said, I think that's smoke and mirrors. I think that the Panthers are putting that out there because they don't want anyone getting a sense that they are desperate for Malik Willis. Because if you lead people to believe that you want Malik Willis, someone may be thirsty enough to trade up in front of you. The Giants have 2 first-round picks, and the Giants have already said, we're open for business. Hit us up. You know, you got our number, hit our line. You know, we'll pick it up. And if you're talking with some sense, we might move out of there because they got 2 first-round picks, and they don't mind making it 3, you know, depending on who you're talking to. So, I think the Panthers are out here playing games. Why you wanna play? Why you wanna play those games? I think they're trying to play some games on me. I think they want Malik Willis. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't think they want Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield will be a consolation prize should they not come away with any of the quarterbacks that they so desire. I think Malik is the one they want, though. I don't know if they truly want Kenny Pickett. I know that Matt Rule isn't opposed to Kenny Pickett, but I don't know if the rest of that organization wants Kenny Pickett. So I don't know. Maybe Baker Mayfield is in the. I can tell you this: if the Panthers take an offensive tackle at 6 with nobody trading in front of them, and Malik Willis is still on the board, and no quarterback has been selected, and they take an offensive tackle, they're going to trade for Baker Mayfield. And it wasn't smoke and mirrors. But I think that's exactly what it is. They're trying to keep people off the scent. They're taking people off the trail of the scent of them wanting Malik Willis. That's just my personal opinion. We'll see if I'm right or not. Anyway, I am out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully, you'll come join me tonight. If you're a member of the MOBB, we will be live at 8 o'clock sharp because I got to make sure I'm on time tonight for the safety stream where we'll be talking about the safety position tonight. The thing I love about tonight's conversation will be the fact that those other positions, we were talking about players that we knew Washington had no chance of getting. You know, you're talking about 6, 7 guys that, you know, Washington isn't going to be able to draft because we only have 2 picks, you know, one in the first, one in the second. And those guys are going to be gone, you know, somewhere in between us making our first selection and us making our second selection. And then not having a third rounder is a crippler, you know? So this particular position, though, the safety position, I think that because the safety position is kind of viewed like the running back position, like, we can get one later. You don't have to spend high draft capital on the safety position in particular. That's why you don't see safeties going in the first round very often. I think because of that, I think every safety not named Daxton Hill or Kyle Hamilton will be available for Washington at 47 if they so choose. So I think the interesting conversation tonight is that these top level safeties, some of the best guys in the draft, will have a chance to draft if we so choose. So that'll make the conversation interesting tonight. Anyway, Big Money Sonny on the way out. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, last question. Thoughts on Johnny Depp's situation? Had to wait for garbage time to ask, homie. I don't know how to feel about that. You know, I took a small little gander at it, but that shit doesn't move me at all. I'm more interested in Mike Tyson beating the hell out of a dude that's belligerent on the plane that doesn't want to leave him the hell alone. Like, why the hell would you mess with Mike Tyson anyway? Like, you're asking for an ass whooping. Like, some people, I don't know if they think Tyson's gone soft or what. He's Mike effing Tyson. He's Iron Mike. And you know the guy's going to try and sue. Oh, bitch ass. I'm glad Mike beat him up. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. You guys know what it is. Get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the basketball. It seems like a lot of you are watching NBA playoffs as I am as well. Enjoy it. I will. I'm upset. I'm going to miss the second half of the Grizzlies game tonight, but it is what it is. I got it recorded, and I'll have to go back and watch it after my streams are all done with. But that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. You guys get out of here. Have a good one.